It's 7 p.m. Do you know where your Wumpus is? Cause I don't know where mine is. Maybe they're together? I don't know. Got a thing from Diva. Thanks for coming all the way over to my pad to hang out. You never get enough company. The real reason I wrote this is so I continue the gift from before I forgot. One more item off the to-do list. You're no nonsense Diva. Another from Naomi. You know, Steven, versatile items are the key to any wardrobe. And so I've sent you this. It's heavy enough to keep you warm, but light enough you won't be too warm. It'll be useful and stylish throughout the year. Stay warm. I'd rather not. I'd like to stay cool, actually. So, okay. The thing Naomi sent us is this. Cardigan shirt combo. That sounds really warm. And then we got the full body tights, which... Yeah, no. Just no. Do I have any trousers that I can put on just right away that would go well with the shirt? It's this one. Alright, so it's got some pink vibes going on. I really wish the cropped pants were longer. I can go with the flare skirt. Yeah, why not? We'll go flare skirt. Bam. Team flare all the way. Let's do it. I don't care, man. It's just how it'll be. I'll wear anything in this game. I mean, there's some things I won't wear. I wouldn't wear the muscle suit or the full body tights or, you know, things like that. But, you know. So today, I don't have a huge amount to ramble about. Like, I've literally spent all day just kind of chilling on the Minecraft server for the Discord group I'm in. Quack, feeling psyched, squeak. Let's talk. You should swing by sometime. I'm working on a new peach cobbler recipe. What's the face for? I'm hungry? I mean, that's what the face is for. Pinky! Steven, they're my fabulous bestie. Let's chat. Did you love being outside when the weather's like this? We need to have a picnic sometime. I had a little one on my birthday. Cashew! Glad to see you. Let's talk. Let's make today our best day ever. We can. You know what? Let's have our KK concert to start the day. Feeling the vibes tonight, especially now that you're on the scene. You ready for a tune? Yeah, let's hear it. And again, if there's any KK songs any of you guys would like to request away in the comments, and I will, the next chance I get, I will request it. But for now, just leave it up to KK. Cool, got a sick one for you. Take a seat and we'll jam. I'm gonna sit next to Pinky. We'll all be on this one side. Clearly this is the hard cam side. This is where the camera's facing. KK Fog. Fuge? Fuge? Fook? I don't know. I don't recognize this one, so. It was nice, because, like, I felt genuinely helpful just being on there and helping out. Like, it felt good. And honestly felt a lot more productive than what I was gonna do today, which was just level grinding in 14. I still want to do some of that, but I might do it after I'm done recording. Maybe. I might just go back on the server. It depends on if the person I was helping is still on there. Because, like, you know. I also do want to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Early Days Collection. I might do that for, like, the stream you guys saw earlier today. I don't know what I'm doing for that stream yet, so. Could be Final Fantasy some more, or it could be that. This is the problem with I woke up at like 6 this morning. Got out of bed around 7. I went to bed at midnight, so yeah, I only had about 6 hours of sleep. But that's because my initial plans for today, before I got up and it was raining, so it was just a chance of rain. Rain. I was gonna get up, have my morning coffee, have a shower, go for a walk. But it was raining. And I know the general thing there would be, we'll just use an umbrella, and I do have one. It's also quite windy. Wind and umbrellas don't mix. One of these days, they're gonna make an umbrella out of something actually durable enough to withstand the wind, but that ain't today, so I didn't get around to that. Wish I had, though. This is a nice KK song, though. Alright, that was a nice one. Thanks, KK. Right on, man. Well, give your pockets a glance. Slipped you a boo of the show. That was, like, unreal. Thanks for tuning your dial my direction. No problem, man. Naomi! Well, if it isn't Steven. What's the latest? The island breeze is quite lovely today, don't you think? It feels as if it might carry my cares away with it. That is very fair. I want to note of something I kind of want to do as like a bonus video at some point. It'd be a pair of bonus videos, really. There are specifically 2 Brentalfloss songs that I really want to do a cover of. Because, like, Brent is a good singer. But, like, these 2 songs specifically, I feel like with the tones of my voice, I could do as good as he did, at least. I don't want to say better, because he's a good singer. But I like the feel of this one. Very fancy and old-timey. But those, if you're curious as to what songs I'm heavily considering doing covers of and then uploading them, which would be Sunday videos if I did do this. It's Zidane de Vivi and Winters with lyrics. So Jeff's theme with lyrics. Like, I feel like I could do those really good justice. And I quite enjoy those songs, so it helps, you know. Look who it is! It's Steven! Nice to see you here, Snorty. Let's talk. When I was little, I thought it'd be fun to live inside a store like this. Now I wonder I might not be spending too much time in here. Or if I might not. I can read. My nose is itchy. Need a shovel? Hey, it's the Fisher Price one today. I will gladly take Fisher Price shovels. Okay. So what is the turnip price right now? It's like the final turnip price. 166. Okay. That's weirdly high for this time of week. Almost has me kind of wondering what the morning price was. Now let's bonk this rock. See if this is... Nope, not money rock. Already started bonking it, so... Gotta keep bonking. Always be bonking. I also still, like, I was just looking down and I'm seeing the Princess Peach Showtime. I still want to do content around that. So I've played that game a little bit, and honestly, I'd loved what I've played of it. It's really good. It's technically it's a Mario series platformer that I'm actually good at. Because it feels like Kirby. It feels like a Kirby game, but Peach. Which is definitely rather nice. Let's get these all filled in, pick all this stuff back up. I'm really trying to think of things to ramble about today. So I think that's the problem with me not having really done much. Because, like, not doing much means I don't have much to ramble about. I suppose I was looking into various bits of Murder Drones merch, and I was like, I was basically heavily considering buying at least a plush, and then just sitting here and I'm just like, it's a lot of money though. Like, I was like, okay, I'll just get the plush. And then I got looking further, and I'm like, wait, there's literally a shirt of, like, one of my favorite characters from the show. So I kind of want to get that one, too. And both together equaled out to $70 before shipping or taxes, with $25 in shipping. And then you gotta add 14% taxes on top of that, because Nova Scotia. I still do the math of 15%, because that's just the math I've done forever. Which also, if you ever, like, want to add the taxes to whatever you're buying, and it's not already included like it is some places in the world, which would be really freaking nice if that was just a thing everywhere, so we didn't need to do this math. But say if you know what the percentage of your taxes are. So, like, in this instance, for Nova Scotia, it's 14%. You take the raw price, so 70, you take that, and then you times that by 1.14. And that will give you a result, which is your raw price with 14% more added to it. And that is your new total. Or that is your total, I should say. It's rather convenient. I actually remember, I think it was in Maths Foundations 11, while I was in school. Which also, I think I've told this anecdote before, but you know how everyone always says, hey, they don't teach you how to do taxes in school. Yes, they do. You just need to take the idiot math class. That's where they teach you how to do taxes. And all about all the various things, taking off your paychecks, and all that stuff like that. We were taught that in Maths Foundations. The idiot's math class. The one where we were quite literally given a refresher on how to do addition. I wish I was joking. You know, it's just kind of how that class was. But I remember getting into quite the kerfluffle with the teacher over me using that calculation for percentages instead of, like, as he put it, showing my work. I was showing my work. I was showing a percentage of something. Because that even works if you're going for, like, adding 50% to something. Well, you take your number and 50%. You know, 1.15. Or not 1.15. 1.5. Blah. 1.15 is 15%. Like, that is, you know, you get, that's your percent increase. If you want the raw number past that of the exact amount the percent was, then you just simply take your new number and subtract the original number from it. And there's your difference. And there! Alright, need something? What you up to, Hamlet? I can't believe it. I made a wooden field sign. So jogging the other day and somewhere around the 53rd mile, inspiration just hit me. Or it could have been dehydration. Either way, check it out. Stay hydrated. Building it was a hard workout routine. You know, I'm all about sharing my routines. What do you say? Get built making yourself a wooden field side? Yeah, man. Teach me. Chris, no desk. Yeah, there's a hamster on the screen. Yeah, that's your Waddle Doo. I know you're giving your Waddle Doo kisses. I'm sure he appreciates them. No desk. I would turn the camera, but you're gonna jump down the moment I do, and I know it, so it's not gonna happen. But yeah, like, there's generally... The rule of thumb I learned when it comes to dealing with almost any math equation is there is almost certainly an easier way to do it than how you're taught to do it. Which is so stupid. Because maybe I'm the crazy one. Because I ended up showing other people how to get percentages that way, and as mentioned, the teacher did not like that. Because, so this is showing your work, except it is. You're just skipping a lot of the useless steps that aren't needed. Frisk, can you not try to steal my pretzels? Those are my pretzels, not yours. You don't need pretzels. Why are you turning the monitor, the TV more towards you? You're not the one playing it. Frisk, please. Why are you like this right now? Someone's in the shower, but that's no excuse. And, like, I hope that little tip can help somebody, too, like... Because it is just... useful. Frisk, what are you doing? Why are you getting into things? Howdy. Hang on as long as you want. My salsa is your salsa. It's the latest, my man. Tomorrow's the day the folks from the Happy Home Academy come to visit. Bugs on my floor always get excited when the Happy Home Academy comes by. Wonder what score I'll get. I'm gonna guess a pretty high one. You got a pretty nice house going on with some nice themes. Yeah, like... It's just so dumb. The teachers are like, no, that's not... It's like, yeah, it is right. I'm literally getting the right result. And it's not like that kind of equation doesn't work. Like, here's the thing that I actually had thrown at me by the teacher. Well, if you wanted 215%, 2.15. There's your 215%. Ooh, I do like me a dress shirt, but I want to keep this on. I might go with this one. Ah, yes. No. Yeah, I'll go with this. Oh, it's a great look on you. Thanks for coming by. Thanks, Mabes. Hey, Sabes. We've been having more and more hot days lately. Summer's just around the corner. My time to get out my collection of summer aprons. The selection of... I can't make that work. There's a faucet. And like, I do to a degree understand where like the teachers were coming from with that stuff. So it's like, well, you know, I'm technically not doing it the way I'm supposed to be doing it. So how can I know I have the right answer? Well, the reason I know that is simply because timesing something by 1 is effectively, you know, the same number, so you can see that as 0%. Which is where, you know, timesing it by 0.01, well, now you've got 1% more. 0.02 is 2% more. You know, like, it just works. Now, if you don't know that that's basically how numbers work, then yeah, I'm sure it is quite helpful to do the whole long calculation where you figure out the percentage, you convert this, you do, it's like, it's all so dumb. Just multiply it by the amount you need to multiply it by. If you teach people that, then they don't need to know all the extra complicated stuff. Which, like, I'm gonna get on a whole little teaching rant here. Overcomplicating things is why people hate learning. They hate education. They hate school. It's because not only does school not let you learn the things you want to learn, it's just getting started. Watch out. Let me say we sailed across the sea to find undiscovered islands. Of course I'd be captain. You'd be my first mate, Rambler. You do know how to sail, right? I mean, kinda. I can do the minigame in Puzzle Pirates. Pretty alright at it. No expert at it, but I can do it. I can do it when I absolutely need to, and that's about it. I prefer rigging, though. Though, honestly, above all else, I prefer sitting in the crow's nest and waiting for sword fighting to break out. Or treasure haul. And if I have to do anything, it's probably sailing. I know for a while I would do, like, gunnery, but that's a lot of extra work. I need to identify these fossils first. Yeah, I'm sure. Need to go identify my fossils, which means I need to have Blathers tell me that the stamp rally is still going on, yet again. Because, you know, I might have forgotten. Just maybe. Like, school overcomplicates things way too much when they don't need to be. Like, maybe it's just me, but I have found the things I have learned the best from are sources that complicate the important things to complicate. And decomplicate the things that really you could do a whole year's lecture on. A good example I will give is a lot of Lindy Beige videos. He's a British YouTuber, archaeologist, does a lot of history type videos. He did a video on Czechoslovakia in World War II, where he literally had to start it and basically said, if you're watching this video with somebody else, like, someone's showing you this video, you're showing someone this video, you at any moment throughout the video could hit the pause button, normally it's space, or I think it's K, and turn to your friend and say, actually, it was more complicated than that. And you will almost certainly always be right. And he's not wrong. Even though it's like an hour-long video, you really can't break down the entirety of that into an hour-long video of constant, effectively, lecture. You would really need, like, multiple textbooks worth of reference material, which is basically what he used to make his hour-long video, to even get a general grasp of things, not even fully understanding everything, and that's just Czechoslovakia. Which, admittedly, did have a pretty interesting World War II. But every country involved in World War II, you could basically have that exact same response to. Where, like, you could be reading through history of it and basically go, it was actually more complicated than that, and you will be right. Basically every time. So, like, But at the same time, there's little details where going into great detail on them is great. Like, I'm going to go to a World War I topic here. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. Something that, at least when I was going to school, when we got to our World War I topic, I'm just going to sell all of this stuff, was more or less glossed over. Which is something that shouldn't have been glossed over. Let's see, do I have this? I did not have that. Like, there are so many little details leading up to his assassination that are so interesting. Like, effectively, there was actually 2 assassination attempts that day, and only one was successful. How many of you actually knew that, though? But the groups that were attempting to assassinate him actually tried and failed earlier in the day to assassinate the Archduke. The only reason they even successfully managed to assassinate him was his driver took a wrong turn because he wasn't familiar with the roads. Like, that is the kind of little detail that history pivots on. That driver taking a wrong turn caused the First World War. Like, without that driver taking a wrong turn, the Archduke would have survived. There would have definitely been reprisals within... I don't remember the country in which the Archduke was visiting. I do apologize for that. My memory on these details is not completely solid. I'm not great with names, is the thing. And I only even learned of this stuff, like, a few years back. So, like, you know. But, like, there wouldn't have been a World War I had his driver not taken a wrong turn. Equally, if in the assassination attempt, it had only been the Archduke's wife who had been killed, there probably would not have been a World War I. It was only because the Archduke was killed. And even then, there was only a World War I because the Austro-Hungarian Empire took way too long to deliver an ultimatum to the, what's the country? The people who assassinated the Archduke. Why can I not remember the name of that country? Croatia? I don't remember. This is my brain running overtime. More fish! I also hope I catch more fish. That means it's probably gonna rain tomorrow, isn't it? Might even be a thunderstorm. I don't know if that has any connection, but I've found usually when I catch oarfish, it tends to rain the next day. Not always, but a good amount of the time. But like, and basically, this ultimatum that the Austro-Hungarians sent included things that literally no sovereign country would ever agree to. Basically, to force war. And the Austro-Hungarians expected that this other country would just deny the whole thing outright, except they didn't. Because it had been so long. Whoever fishes us out of the surf. I set my mind to making up the next big thing in DIY recipes, and lo and behold, I have my genius idea. My great ideas in this bottle here. Take a chance on it, you'll see. Don't tell anyone else about this. Your clever pal, Admiral. Dark bamboo rug. Like, it had been so long that most of the world's sympathy had kind of left the Austro-Hungarian Empire. So this other country basically went, okay, we will agree to 9 of your 10 terms. With the one term that no country would ever agree to, that being allowing the Austro-Hungarian police to enter this other country and conduct investigations as they please. No one is ever going to agree to that. Not if they value their sovereignty anyway. Which basically at that point made the other country look like the reasonable ones. The Germans also could have evaded World War I by simply not giving the Austro-Hungarian Empire a blank check of support. Like, there's so much going into that, where that information would, you know, I'm sure there's some of you listening now that are hearing these little tidbits and going, man, that's really cool. I want to look this stuff up and do it. Look it up. Research into it. It's really cool. Like, there is so much cool things that happen in history, yet you're almost never taught them. And the things you are taught about tend to get overly complicated to the point of being mundane and you no longer care about them. Like, you know, how often throughout school did any of y'all watching hear about and learn about Rosa Parks? Because I know for me, it was every year starting in grade 4 until grade 10. By about grade 5, I had more or less stopped caring because it was the same thing I had just heard the year before. That is not a way to teach anything about history. To teach anything. And I am focusing mostly on history because it's one of my biggest fascinations is history. Don't worry, I'm not one of these folks that believes things was better in the past. When I was younger, I did, but that was before I'd actually researched more into the past. Once you actually look into it, nah, the past was worse in almost every conceivable way. Like, there basically is nothing better about the past other than money went further. That's really the only good thing. And that's more of commentary on capitalism at that point than the past actually being better, you know. Like, it's just, you know, but even like past that, like, think of how often back when you were probably being taught how to spell, and even later on throughout your schooling career, whenever spelling would come up. How often were you asked to spell absurdly complicated words that you've probably never even used? I know I was asked to spell quite a few. And they are words that I've used since, but they're also not words that I needed to know how to spell when I was like 10. You know, a 10-year-old does not need to know how to spell the word contagious. Just as an easy example of a complicated word for that age. Like, that's not a word you need to know how to spell. At 10, you need to know how to spell the basic words that you are going to be using in your everyday life. But instead, you're being handed overly complicated words. And it's like, but why though? For what point and purpose? Well, it's to make people smart. Yeah, but you make them smart by getting them engaged and to care about what they're learning. By making them feel like crap because they can't spell a word, all you're doing is giving a minor ego boost to the couple of people who could do it. And I'm gonna speak here to the education departments of the world as a former gifted child. I've mentioned many times how I could ace exams even though I was never there for them. Never there for any of the work. I could ace tests even though I was never there for the in-school work. I was, and still am, a pretty smart person. That little ego boost that I got when I was younger for knowing things when no one else did, just stop and think where that's left me. I am a depressed adult who is heavily, overly critical of myself at every turn. Some of that is definitely just how I am. Part of that, though, is from that ego boost when I was younger of, hey, I'm smarter than these other people. Which leads to when I do make a dumb mistake, or my memory just simply fails me, or, I say something stupid I shouldn't have, I get a lot harder on myself than most people probably would, because in my head, I should know better. I'm the smart kid. Like, that isn't a good thing to hammer into someone so young of like, oh, you're so smart, you're gonna go far. Because you don't know that. Like, you don't know that they're gonna go far. You don't know that they aren't just passionate about that one thing that you now think makes them incredibly smart at everything. Which is where, like, as much as I'll even admit I'm a pretty smart person, I'd argue I'm smart because I'm willing to learn. Like, anyone can come to me with anything, and if I think it's interesting, I'm going to want to learn more about it. And if you're coming at me with something that challenges a way I think of things, I am willing to listen. I am willing to learn. Like, that's just how I am. I like being like this. It's nice. For a second I thought I was getting another oarfish. But, like, it doesn't change the fact that, like, being labeled that gifted kid and be so smart, like, you know how messed up it made me feel hearing that in grade 4 I was reading above college level, then encountering words I didn't know. I didn't know what they meant. I'd never seen them before in a book later on. So it's like, okay, I'm reading above college level, but I don't know these words. What does this mean? In general, though, those reading tests are more a case of you're able to at least understand the word, even if you don't necessarily know what the word means. This is something an English teacher would probably get a bit angry with me for, but this is just my perception of English. In general, the context of how a word is used matters more than the word itself. Like, and as long as you can understand the context, you can generally pick up what that word means, even when it comes to, like, modern slang. Like, it took me a minute to understand things like Riz, but that's because I was just hearing the word. I was never hearing it, well, the slang term. I was just hearing it. I wasn't hearing it in context with something. But hearing like, man, that person's got some sick Riz. Like, oh, charisma. It makes sense now. In the context, that's what it makes sense. Maybe not directly to charisma, but, they've got something appealing about them. They're, and what's appealing? Well, charisma's appealing. And if they're saying that in response to the person saying something smooth, then yeah, that's definitely what they're talking about. You know, you can pick up on the context of it, even without knowing the word. Which I'm pretty sure is where my above college level reading in grade 4 came from. Was because I could read a sentence, and even if I didn't understand what every single word meant, I could still tell you what that sentence was saying. Because, well, I could pick up on the context of the language to figure out, hey, that's what this means, that's what that means, that's what, you know. That wasn't always completely correct, but hey, no one is when they're reading words. It's actually moderately amazing how often people will just completely not understand what words means. I will also say from my own personal experience, and I apologize if this ends up rubbing someone the wrong way, I have generally found people that go out of their way to use big words that sound complicated are generally not very smart. Same as the people who need to use a ton of words to say a simple thing. You know, like... I'm trying to think of a good example of that one, because there's definitely times where using a lot of words definitely makes sense. Here's an example. So, take this fishing rod, for example. Now, imagine somebody describing this thing to you. And this person's going, yes, it's a long pole, it's collapsible, it's got a yellow and blue handle on it, pink accents with yellow metal support braces at every collapsible point that it catches on and holds at. It's got a hook and a rubber duck at the end of it, and you fling it into the water and fish bite onto it. Or you could go, yeah, it's a pink and yellow fishing rod with a rubber duck on it. The person painstakingly describing the whole thing to you is using far more words than they need to. And they might use, like, fancy words when they do it. Like, they might be naming the exact colors and the exact, like, geometrical shape of the whole thing. And it's like, it's a fishing rod. You know what a fishing rod is. Most people know what a fishing rod is. And even if you don't directly know what a fishing rod is, you could pick that up from the context clues of it's a rod or fishing. Fishing is the act of catching fish, so it's a rod for catching fish. But like, if someone's ever gonna come up to you and be like, the splendiferous colors of the handle of the cylinder. It's like, no, stop. Just stop. All the fishing rod that you think is pretty. Like, you don't need to use the big words. You're not impressing anybody. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this one. I know I've only really just kind of rambled about education and such, but I'm just in one of those moods today. I'm just rambling. I found something to ramble about, so it works out. But with that, we're going to let KK play us off into the end card, and I thank you all very much for watching, and hopefully I shall see you back here tomorrow for the bad financial decision of turnips. See you all then. And now in this end card, I'd like to ask, if you liked the video, could you maybe hit the like button? And if you're not subscribed, could you maybe subscribe? It helped me out a lot. Thanks a bunch.